And we do actually have, as you guys were talking about already, we have Fizz and Shen were being the pre-bans. We have Nautilus being banned by Teamless. Olaf was banned last game. Clearly CRS did not like that Jax, so we're seeing that banned.
Jax is just such a monster in the current meta because people aren't playing as aggressive as we used to. And really, uh, the part where Jax just wasn't as dominant is when people were running around just roaming top, roaming bottom, and just making big plays early on in the game. Because Jax, he's strong,
But he needs the farm.
but he needs the farm, he needs the level, and he doesn't really shine until that 30, 40 minutes in the game. And so as the entire playstyle and meta of both NA and EU shifted to the long-lasting hyper end game,
Yep.
you want champions like Kog'Maw, you want champion like Jax, because people are playing a lot safer, they're dragging the game on, and really when you have champions that just excels that much into the late game, and it seems like every single match drags to that point.
Yeah, we're actually seeing teams just like 100% choose 5 champions that just scale into late game. They don't even care. They're like, oh, we'll lose Dragon, we'll lose this. Actually, as you said the other day, after 30 minutes, we're probably going to win.
Yeah.
And that's just what they're picking now because everyone's
Yeah.
going for the late game because people are scared to make these aggressive choices, make these aggressive decisions and plays to make it. Let's force a Baron, let's do that. But no one's really doing that. It's a very casual play.
So, I mean, like, the way you counter those hyper champions is because they generally have a weak lane. Now, Jax surprisingly beats a lot of top lanes, but he does
a lot, yeah.
But he does have a lot of counter too, right? You can send Swain versus him. You can send
Swain
Vladimir does pretty well against
Especially,
him
do you see
too.
those Swain buffs coming out?
Yeah,
I
so
think Swain's going to be a little strong now.
you can do the all right. They're going for a hyper late game. Let's make something happen in the first 20 minutes. Let's go hyper aggressive early snowball composition and counter that. And really, it's just you betting. All right, if we let them get to this 40-minute mark, we lose. So we already kind of know where they're headed in this. Let's pick champions that counter them super hard in the lane, and let's get every single dragon. Let's get every single Baron. Let's start taking down towers and put us in the position where we're going to be able to end this game before it gets that late.
Yep. But talking about bans and picks here, we have seen Dr. Mundo and Urgot being banned, which is exactly what we saw last game. Nocturne being banned, as we both know. Nocturne, ever so popular in the European scene and pretty popular in the NA scene, so clearly he's going to be banned. We do have Janna being first picked by CRS, and we actually have Shyvana. This is the first Shyvana we're actually going to see this tournament, I believe. And Soraka, obviously, has been picked up. I don't know if they really need to pick Soraka just yet, though, because they have their support picked on the other side.
Yeah, they definitely don't. Picking Soraka early would either one, synergize with their team comp, or two, they want to hide
there it is. No, they didn't go with the Shyvana. That's why they did it. They're trying to lock down that lane. They're just trying to pick their bot lane so they can bait out some other picks later.
Yeah, it's you either pick down something early because one, it's hard to counter, or two, you think you're gonna need it for the composition you have in mind. Or is this incredibly OP and you want to pick it up before they pick it up?
That's about it.
Picking Soraka, I think in this case would be, all right, they already picked their support. Let's just pick our support and hide the rest because AP mid is counterable. Top lane is very counterable. Even jungler to some extent. If you can hide that and pick the jungler that just best synergizes or counter the other team, is just very good as well. So picking an early support would more mean, all right, this is going to work well with the team composition I have in mind, and it's going to allow me to hide additional picks that I might want later on.
I believe this is actually the first Vlad we've seen played, because he's either been banned, I think, every other time, but he wasn't actually banned last time. I don't think the Europeans value him really as much as the North American teams do at all.
The thing is a lot of the North American teams run a lot of AoE damage, right? Vlad's one of those champions where he does a lot of AoE damage.
He also does a lot of sustained damage is the thing.
He does a lot of sustained AoE damage. So he's able to get into the backline, and first of all, I can tank and then he can drop aggro. If you can't chain CC him for the duration of, say, his 3,000 health that he gets from AP, especially if he gets his Hourglass, he's gonna be able to get in there, get to that backline. If somebody has a hyper carry or just a really annoying champion in the back that you can't get to, that would be a legitimate time or reason to pick Vladimir. So, but overall, I mean, we don't know what Curse has in mind yet, so depending on what they pick, I mean, Vlad can be a really strong pickup
We actually are seeing a lot of new picks this game. We have a Nevia, our first pick this tournament, and a Skarner. I haven't seen a Skarner in competitive play in a very long time.
I think I was the last one to pick doing competitive play. And
Skarner's been a while, man. Skarner's been a
It's
while.
definitely been a while, especially in the NA scene. People are just so skeptical on him.
I like Skarner, though. I actually do. I think, he's kind of like Warwick, but he's better because he's got that AoE clear. He clears so fast, and he's just so
He
tanky.
does clear. The biggest problem I see with him is ever since they nerfed his Q, it costs so much mana now that even if you have blue buff, with the nerf to blue buff, in addition to the nerf to his Q in terms of mana cost, he's running out of mana way too fast. And really, without that mana, his clear time's not that fast. So after the initial blue buff expires, he's not as effective. So he actually, because it's so essential that he has that golem buff to jungle, he ends up jungling more than he actually ganks because he's not going to be as effective without it.
Yep.
So the trade-off for him just made up. Like the trade-off to the nerf, not to his Q, but to the golem buff, just makes it so, all right, I have to stay in the jungle for most of the time, so I can farm up to level 6.
I feel like he's going to do good versus Maokai, though. I think that's a good matchup. I really like CRS's comp here. They have so much survivability. The Janna, the Maokai, the Vlad, the Ashe, and the Morgana. Every single one of those champions that has the ability to kite, peel, everything, just slow. They can disengage whenever they want. They can engage whenever they want. I think that's a really good team comp. It just flows together. I think that's really solid synergy.
Like, taking a look at the team comp, right? You have Maokai. It's going to do pretty well against Graves because, in a team fight, everybody kind of just bust out and load everything. And Maokai's going to be able to drop that ultimate circle, and it's going to take out a lot of damage from Skarner, a lot of damage from Graves, and a lot of damage from Anivia, too. And definitely, I think Curse does have a stronger team comp just because I don't see Skarner being able to get that.
It's going to be hard for him to initiate. I mean, he can blow the shortly as he can blow Flash, but
to
if he
get
tanks
that
an arrow,
suppression,
he tanks in the Black Shield too. I mean, they have a lot.
I mean, it's got to be a really, really well-timed surprise suppression if he wants to get it off.
And then we are going to take a quick break to run some ads before this game, and we'll be back in just a moment. All right, and we are back. We do have the match, and both teams kind of just going for like a all random all middle here. It looks like everyone kind of is rushing middle for a standoff.
Everybody's just rushing middle. They're looking for the position. They're definitely scared of Curse because if that binding lands on somebody, Teamless is going to take a lot of pain because that full damage from that sapling is going to be able to go off. And the first hit on Ashe, keep in mind, will most likely crit. So, definitely whoever gets hit with that binding is going to be in a world of pain.
But they are going to back up here because they do see that ward. Soraka managed to get it over just over the wall, and before they even notice, so CRS doesn't even know they've been seen.
Yeah, usually if you know the other team has a strong composition for level 1, what you don't want to do is you don't want to be able to just face check a brush walk into a binding, and so Teamless understands that Curse has the type of composition where they can pick off somebody really easily at level 1. So they just dropped a ward for safety measure, which was really good. That allowed them to see that Curse was coming and just back out.
I like that safety measure. It's good.
Yeah. So just quick advertisement for the Facebook contest. We are going to end this first round for the Facebook contest in terms of whoever guesses the right team that is going to win. So if you're going to want to win that Nasus skin code, go to our Facebook and write on our wall who you think is going to win before the 5-minute mark. It is already 2 minutes, so you have 3 minutes left.
We are seeing a pretty standard jungle start here. Maokai did actually go in and counter those Wraiths, but they're both going to start at their blue. And again, just pretty standard, slow start. Nothing exciting in this game. No level 1 action going on.
So let's talk about lane matchup a little bit. You know, you have this Anivia, this Morgana. Morgana doesn't really have anything to worry about in terms of ganking from Skarner. Anytime Skarner wants to come, she's going to be able to black shield the slow. Especially, it's going to take 2 ticks to slow her. The first one activates it, so the next one will slow. So it's going to allow her to get a lot of distance. And that black shield, anytime Skarner wants to, put some type of aggression, flash, use that suppression, she's going to be able to block it if she has a fast enough reaction.
Yeah.
So definitely I can see Morgana just dropping that pool all day against Anivia. And really, it's going to be basically a farm fest mid. Unless Morgana plays aggressive, if she's able to land a binding with a dark pool and get followed up by a twisted advance by Maokai, I can see some plays happen on Anivia mid, especially because Anivia doesn't have a lot of hit point. And so to egg her isn't too hard. Even though she has 2 lives, if she's alone in the lane taking damage from 2 champions, she can very well just go down as... So in terms of aggression, just not a lot against Morgana, but Anivia does have the threat of dying.
Yeah, and really the only way they're going to kill Morgana is if they bait the shield and Skarner's already there. I mean, that's really the only way they're going to get to her. I mean, she can just pretty much free push, pool whenever she wants, and this is just her lane right now. And until it gets a little bit later in the game, until Anivia can clear it out with that Glacial Storm, that ultimate, and really start throwing back the lane clearing, like the Tormented Soil that she can do.
Yeah.
They're really it's really Morgana's lane to win right now.
Yeah, it's just as soon as they both hit level 6, the threat is still there for Anivia dying, and really it's just both people dropping down that pool, dropping down that Glacial Storm, just farming, clearing ways back and forth. So this could be like a battle of the AP mid. Let's see who gets more farm. Let's see who does more in a team fight in the late game.
They actually have Maokai was bottom, trying to get a gank there, but he's going to decide to back off as they do have a warded, and he's just going to go back and get some farm.
Yeah, that ward actually did a lot more than it was anticipated. It was just meant to ward off that level 1 team fight, but it caught Maokai as he's walking by. So, it's just it is really nice when something that you intended for something else, it benefits you in the long run in multiple aspects. So that was really good by Teamless to drop that ward at that position.
We actually have Janna here taking a lot of damage, and Skarner is coming in for the flank, and Ashe sees this. They know it. I don't think they're actually in any trouble. Skarner can't really do anything. Actually, Ashe going in, doing a little bit of too aggressive. King Derp is going to do a little bit of damage to him, but actually not enough to actually do anything or slow him or really, catch him. So they're actually going to be okay. They do know he's still sitting there.
Yeah, there is a ward there. I think like a common gank path, actually.
Oh, Soraka getting really low there. Maybe they might try to bait this. Oh, no, never mind. The Hawk Shot is going to go out. Ashe is going to get initiated on a little bit right there. Graves checking with, initiating with the body, as we like to say on CRS for a little cop reference right there.
Yeah, that Soraka almost took damage just to bait, I felt.
Having to dodge the binding there, having to flash over the wall. Skarner is going to blow that. So they've got nothing going on here. Just a lot of, I wouldn't say failed attempts, but just not happening.
I mean, in high level play, you usually don't see a lot happening in early game. So
no.
It's really the way you convert on a kill is one lane just got to be a lot more dominant.
Yeah.
If the lane matchup is just...
They have two kind of passive. I mean, Janna Ashe is a little bit more aggressive, but they're both kind of...
They're definitely more aggressive. In terms of killing potential, at level 6, Janna Ashe has a lot more killing potential. In terms of locking somebody down and just dealing that damage, especially with any type of pressure from the jungle, just having that slow from Ashe is continually proccing. Having that slow from Janna, that knock up, that stun from that arrow.
And you can get a flash ulti behind and blow them out too.
You know,
I mean, that's really good.
As soon as this hit the 8-minute mark, I can just very well see a lot more aggression everywhere. That Ash arrow is probably going to fly a little bit more cross map. You're going to see...
Ooh, Youngblood getting actually ignited on, and Kale is going to go in. Is she going to dive the tower? Doing a lot of damage, and she's going to flash, but then the heal bait going out, unable to finish with Reckoning, and she's actually going to have to back out. Great plays by both players there.
I would almost just take that extra hit without healing, and if it didn't kill him, it would have actually forced Kale a little bit forward, and I would have popped that heal and slowed him under tower. I think that could have potential turn around, but definitely is a lot more risky.
Yeah, you might. Yeah, it's really playing, you know, safe risk reward situation right there.
Both teams are playing a little bit more passive. Kale, you know, he saw an opportunity to burn a lot of spells there and potentially pick up a kill had he not heal, and so he was being a little bit more aggressive. But the moment that heal came off, he knew that, all right, this guy has too much hit point for me to dive him under tower. It's not worth it.
We do have King Duke getting initiated on here, tanking the blinding, and that ultimate's going to go out on him, and he's actually going to get stunned. That is going to be the first blood in the enemy jungle. They actually are going to most likely take this blue. I'm not sure Anivia might be able to steal it. Oh, she's shooting that out maybe a little bit too early. Maybe she's just trying to get some vision on it, or just trying to harass.
If Maokai does not smite it, Anivia does have the chance to steal. But keep in mind, Skarner is dead already, and their own blue is going to be up. So there's really no incentive for Maokai to leave that blue buff for Morgana.
Yeah, he can use that.
He can use that to jungle. You know, you can smite that and just donate his own blue buff on his side to Morgana.
And I'm noticing in chat, a lot of people don't know who's casting. It's Dan Din with me. He's guest casting in this match. Pluto is stepping out for this, and it's me, Elements, that has been casting the whole tournament. And yeah, it's me and Dan.
So this blue buff is going to go to Morgana, and having this blue buff against Anivia, which requires having her own blue buffs to push back, she's going to be able to just push this lane against Anivia 24/7, and Anivia really can't do anything. And keep in mind, you know, Morgana is just a very safe champion in general to farm mid. Really no gank pressure from Skarner. The way it would have to go down if they want to kill St. Vicious is, you know, Anivia's got to wall her off, got to blow her shield, or gotta bait it, then blow it, before Skarner can even suppress her. So if they can make that specific and exact play happen, then Morgana definitely has a chance of going down. But you know, to pull out all those elements and just to do it perfectly or well is gonna be.
Actually, Ash is going in and initiating with the arrow on her bottom. Exhaust being blown on him. We're going to see what's going to happen. Ash actually being exhausted too, and the buckshot and the ultimate going out. Morgana actually coming down here, going to pick up the kill on Metalox. Just not enough you can do. Janna actually might go down too. Never mind. Ignite isn't going to get that tick off, and it's just going to live through it. That's a nice play by CRS.
Yeah, definitely a really good play. It's just at that point, you know, like I said, when it hits that 8-minute mark, you're going to see a lot more aggression from CRS. They have the type of team comp where they can pick people off continually. And so every time that arrow's up and Maokai is there, with the stun lock from the arrow, the twisted advance, the knock-up from Maokai's Q, the tornado from Janna, is just, even if they don't do a lot of burst damage, they're able to keep that.
We have a little bit of damage here, and St. Vicious is going to get that. He's going to get comboed. He actually might go down. He's getting a lot of damage. Skarner is chasing. Black Shield is going to go out. He's going to decide to turn away. They're going on Maokai instead. Anivia actually going to tank that binding. I don't think anything's going to happen here. Both teams are just going to have to turn away as they just can't do much. But I think we should have talked about something. How much it hurts Anivia not to have blue buff, and how much countering that blue buff is so big. Actually, we do have Malinu actually being dove by the Kale there, and he's just going to be able to get away. Kale just can't do enough damage.
You know, like Kale just kind of came in as like, oh, I hope this Morgana is going to teleport right out under tower. And so Morgana actually backed a little bit.
That happens a lot, and people underestimate
so there's a dragon a little pressured. They saw that they were able to take both Morgana and Maokai really low, so there's no real threat for Maokai coming and stealing it. And so since they're able to do such good damage on Morgana and Maokai, they're able to force him back. So Teamless knows that, all right, there's 2 players on Curse that had to go back to base, and there's 4 of us around here. All right, bottom, come to dragon. Skarner, come to dragon. Let's take this. And so it was a relatively safe and free dragon. There's no way Ash was going to come in and initiate that fight, especially because she used her arrow not too long ago on bottom. Even though it was up now, just it wasn't up in the time or position to actually contest dragon.
So we actually had Kale pushing out Vlad while you were. I didn't want to interrupt you, man, there, because he didn't look like he was going to die. But we actually have Kale pushing out Vlad in lane. This is even a couple of times, and Kale's actually doing a really good job versus Vlad. He's got actually got 21 CS on him top, and if he continues to do that, he's really going to, start going ahead and pushing forward. And Kale is actually a really good late game champion. He scales really well.
He's one of those unusual champion where people aren't used to dealing with him. It brings two things to the table.
Yeah.
All right, you're playing a champion people aren't familiar with, so they don't know how to counter you specifically. People won't know the lane matchup as well, and in terms of late game, they don't know how to priority target as well. So being someone that is pretty familiar with Kale, he is one of those champions that if you build him right and build him for a late game, he does a lot of damage. I don't know if you guys have played like Arab, but my first impression with him is, all right, damn, 6-item Kale is a beast. He's going to be able to kill basically anybody if he shields himself during that duration. If he has any form of lifesteal, he's going to be able to top himself off pretty well too. So, in this case, in this game, it does look like Kale is going to be able to get to that point where
initiating the Twisted Advance on King Tabs. They're taking a lot of damage. Probably going to drop down into that egg form. Not sure if they can do anything for it. Tons of damage is being dealt here. He's going to most likely drop. Yes, St. Vicious is going to pick up that final kill. We have a little team fight going on here. King Derp trying to do as much as he can, trying to drop St. Vicious, but he is actually going to get Kale ultied, and he's going to survive possibly. No, he's not. Maokai is going to take him down. St. Vicious getting so low, but actually Soraka, oh, never mind. Kale actually did pick that up, but we did have some bananas being thrown there to get that additional DPS out, and that is actually going to be actually Arrow getting initiated on Lord Nihao. He's going to get slowed. Maokai is coming up for the Twisted Advance. He does have it. Twisted Advance. There's a Hawk Shot going out, giving him vision so he can see in that brush, and that's ultimately going to drop him down, and that is another kill for CRS.
I was almost sure that Curse was going to win that fight, and for a while, Teamless was doing really well. But you got to keep in mind that entire fight, Ashe saved her arrow. And I was a little confused why she didn't use it to save Morgana, but it ended up Morgana dying. The person that was chasing Morgana also died. So having that arrow to pick off that Soraka actually ended up better for them that they let Morgana die, even though it could have been, all right, Morgana lives, whoever she shot would have probably lived too, and then they kind of walk away with a 1-0, but it actually came out to a 3-1 exchange there.
Accidentally minimized.
How?
I don't know how. Let's click on the mini-map. So now we have kind of this like stalemate period where nothing's really going on. A team fight kind of happened. There's no real objectives on the map. And you're just kind of watching players go back to lane, going back to farming. Just really kind of playing passive again, playing coy. They don't really want to do anything. Just like, hey, whatever. We had some team fights. We just gotta get back in our game.
Yeah, definitely. Especially Teamless. What they're looking for is they're looking to farm up. Just Curse has a lot of picking potential with that Ashe, with that Maokai. Maokai is just a notoriously strong ganker all around. So right now what Teamless is trying to do is they're trying to get those objectives in, catch up in gold, out-farm Curse in lane, which they have the capability of doing so. So if Teamless is able to farm well in lane, pick up the next dragon, they are behind for kills, but it's not at the point where they can't come back. So they can probably lose a couple more, but if they can keep their objectives in line, if they're able to control their blue buff and not let Curse steal it anymore, it's going to allow Anivia to hold lane and farm with relative safety as well.
Got a little action going on here top. Nothing really too crazy though. Vlad's taking a little bit more damage as we talked about. That Kale's going to be getting farther ahead, and she's going to go dive on top of him. Going to do a lot of damage. It might not be enough. Most likely not. Ignite. That's like the third time. Actually, you're missing some action here bottom though. And great channel ultimate as I just catch that. Blowing it out, so making Ashe survive here. We do have King Derp there with the Oracles. They want to dive this. They want to get him. It's 4 versus 1 at the tower. He's going to flash. He's going to pull. He's doing a lot of damage to Malnu. He does have that out, but the binding is going to hit him and ultimately take him down. Malnu picking up that final blow on him.
Yeah, I mean, that could have been a really good play by Skarner, but he misjudged who the tower aggro is on. What he needed to do is wait until there was a clear target on who the tower was going to hit before he flash suppressed them. Had he done that right, he probably would have killed somebody and warded off a couple of people if they died fast enough, and especially if it's a high damage dealer that he suppressed. that would have allowed him to negate that damage from the high damage dealer. That means he can tank it a lot longer, and they're going to die a lot faster too under tower. So he thought Maokai was tanking the damage, when in fact it was somebody else. So he just basically threw away his oracles.
Young Buck taking a lot of damage, and Nivea coming in before the gank, and Prince Gush is going to pick up that kill. They are going to take that tower, and that's just a great play for them. That's picking up. That's getting them back in the game right now. I really feel that when they really start to have these team fights, that Kale's going to be a big factor in this, because
Kale is definitely
we
gonna
haven't
get
seen
really
Vlad
big.
or Kale in anything right now, and Vlad's kind of been behind, and Kale's like, "What's up? I'm farming. I'm getting big right now, and I scale really well in the late game."
You know, Kale is farming really well. He has the highest CS in the game. He's at 5,300 gold. The second highest. Oh, actually, he's not the highest. Ash is the highest with 3 kills. You know, he's at about 5,600. So, he's not too far behind. It's just basically going to be Kale and Ash just doing a lot of work all around. But Kale has that level advantage because he's got the solo lane. So when it does come to a team fight, he does have a little bit of advantage over Ash. But Ash has that utility of the arrow. But you know, Kale, if they're gonna win this game, it's gonna be riding on Kale up top.
Yeah, I 100% agree.
You know, it's just
It's really on her.
it's because Anivia has been countered on the blue. You know, she's not doing bad at all. She's keeping her farm really high. But bottom lane is just receiving a lot of pressure all game, and Ash is just getting really big, and the continuous tower dives, the continuous gank on bottom is definitely going to hurt their farm and their killing potential mid-late game, where Graves needs to be able to do a lot of damage, needs to be able to burst, and he's not going to have that at this point.
Yeah, we do have a little bit of action going on here. Bottom Slipper is going to deal some damage here. They are trying to get something going on Initiate Guardian, but they do have Malcolm coming in the back. Arrow going out on King Jarb. Tons of damage being dished out. He's not going to survive. He's just going to instantly drop down. And we have Graves taking a lot of damage, flashing aggressively, picking up the volley with that final blow.
Yeah, it's just, that was really
actually
good
middle.
pick up by Tabs. What happened was there was action in bottom lane, and Morgana started trailing down. Tabs was already there. She was anticipating bottom lane getting ganked, but he gave up midway. He's like, all right, these guys are dead anyways. I'm just going to hide in this brush and wait for him to head out.
Young Buck here in hot pursuit of King Tabs, but a great wall, unable to go by, trying to pull under it, but just doesn't work.
So just definitely like bottom lane for Teamless is just getting so wrecked right now. If Teamless is going to make a comeback, they're going to need to win a couple of team fights. They need to get the next dragon, which should be coming up very soon too. So if they're able to pick up just a 1 or 2 kill positive in their side, they will be able to just be enough force in the next 5-10 minutes. But Curse is coming back. If Teamless position themselves well enough, they're going to be able to pick up the objectives and the dragon that's about to spawn.
Yeah, we're going to see, just probably going to pick up blue buffs, and then dragon will spawn. We're most likely just going to see a team fight. I mean, it's been a pretty standard game overall. We haven't seen anything, you know, we haven't even seen a lot of blue invades other than like the one before. I mean, it's really been kind of
I think that's the first blue that Anivia's got. So
yeah.
you know, blue on Anivia is just absolutely huge. Not having that for the earlier team fights definitely allowed Curse to do a lot more work all around.
Yeah.
You know, having that blue buff up means you can drop that glacial storm longer, force people to walk through it or walk back through it if they want to escape, throw down more walls, throw down more stun. Just the overall damage output on Anivia, and really that's going to help her farm as well. That's going to help her on her mana pool. That's going to help her basically all around. And so
yeah, it really helped St. Vicious to get the edge in the lane. Denying Anivia blue buff early game, as we were talking about, was just so incredibly crucial to winning that lane. I mean, if you deny her blue, like, she's so dependent on blue. She runs out of mana. If you watch middle, she went back to base just twice, just based on mana. She wasn't low HP. She needs to have mana to clear waves to keep up with Morgana's tormented soil.
I mean, if that blue buff wasn't countered, you know, Anivia, I think Anivia would be winning against Morgana just so much more. So definitely it allowed Morgana to just still have a presence everywhere else. You know, but he did die to Anivia a couple of times. So
yeah.
So there is some aggression around Baron. It is a little bit too early to do Baron for CRS, but they are controlling a lot earlier than normal
Yeah.
because they did take down bottom tower. When bottom tower drops, that's going to allow bottom lane ADs and support to roam around the map and start controlling everywhere else as well. So
Ooh, Youngbuck actually trying to get the initiator, blowing his ultimate, and actually flashing the arrow, so nothing's going to happen. We do have Maokai here deciding whether to initiate or not. I think they're just kind of, they're kind of edging their bets, saying, hey, you know what, let's just back off. We do have CRS taking that jungle control, and you know what? They're like, you want to take control, Baron? We're going to take your mid tower, and they started pushing down the middle. And that's how that whole situation started. A lot of times that will happen. Teams will say, let's take this control, let's take dragon control, let's do this, and it's like whatever, you can take it, and we'll just push. And you gotta either step up or we're gonna take this.
So Curse is starting a 20-minute Baron. Their damage potential in terms of jungle top lane isn't really high. So
Skarner, just not sure what the plan with that is, but definitely you need to group up on your right side with your team. You can't just come around from the left-hand side there. You're just going to get turned on and killed. We do have initiation going into. Savish is getting the tether on everybody almost. Blowing that Zon. He's getting great ultimates off. He is going to get an ultimate off. Maokai is coming in. Kincad getting bursted down, sitting in the egg form. Will they be able to take him down? But Graves doing a lot of damage too. Youngbuck doing a lot of damage too. Everybody's just getting chunked. Teamless getting taken out. Actually, Lord New surviving barely. Didn't get that last
20
hit on him.
point. That Baron almost chunked him. And Gush is going to be able to
have
pick up
Gush
anybody he
coming in here.
hits.
We do have Gush coming in here. Oh my gosh. The Kale. The Kale. The Kale. Oh my gosh. That's what we were talking about. The Kale is going to carry them. We called that, and you just saw it, guys. That was amazing. Kale comes in. He's like, what's up? Reckoning does AoE damage. I'm going to sit there. I'm going to crush
He basically
everybody.
came in
Oh
there,
my
throws,
gosh.
he just throws a Q and then kills one person. Bam, bam, I'm going to hit another person once, twice, boom, dead.
Oh my god.
And so
he literally one-shot everybody.
he does have an eye edge. I mean, at this point in the game, Kale is pretty much the most farm champion in the game.
5-0.
Him and Ash are just huge right now. They're both tied at 7,900 gold. So definitely that fight is gonna put Teamless back in the game.
Hey Dan, F it. Kale life.
Kale life.
So someone just said in chat.
Curse just did everything so right that fight. They were definitely
really
ahead.
good fight.
What they needed to do was they needed to recognize that there's 2 players left on Teamless, and they're still around. And Kale was never really low hit point. He went in and out, doing damage, going in, going out. Every time his W is up, the spell that gives him extra range and AoE attack, he would go in, he would do damage, and he would back out. And so they kind of just forgot about him, even though he was in their own jungle.
Ooh, Kale getting initiated now, but oh my god. Chunk, 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 chunk. I got ultimate. I'm going to take no damage. Look at her go. Oh my gosh. Granted, she get caught out of position there. Actually, Australia is being blown by Soraka, and we're going to have an initiate here from King Derp. Vladimir ultimate going out. St. Vicious blowing that tether. Getting it only on Soraka, though. Not that great. And blowing the Zanyas just before he's about to go down. Skarner's in the middle. He's going to pick up that kill on St. Vicious. Blowing the pool. Youngbuck is in trouble here. He's going to get a lot of damage taken in. And that's actually Skarner picking up a couple kills right there for that fight.
I mean, Teamless is doing exactly what they need to come back, and really, Curse is helping them come back too.
Yeah,
it was
really not that great.
It was partly them playing really well, and just Curse stuck around a little too long on that Baron, which they needed to not stick around.
Yeah.
Because if you think about it, right, Maokai got crit by Baron, got taken to 20 hit point, and they still decided to finish off Baron. And when you're at 20 hit point, Soraka just literally walked up there earlier, did a star call, did a silence, and really, Soraka doesn't do a lot of damage.
No,
if you got killed by Soraka, you shouldn't be doing Baron, or you shouldn't be in that pit.
You know what this game reminds me of? Biting off more than you can chew, and then choking on that. That's exactly what it is. Both teams are just biting off more than they can chew, and then,
Yeah.
paying for it big time. I mean, the Baron, they didn't know, well, they knew Kale was up still, and they still decided like, hey, we had a great team fight. They could have just backed and then gotten that Baron control again, and just controlled that area, and with their gold, push their advantage further. But instead, they tried to force a Baron when they were low, and Kale was like, what up, and just pooped on him.
It was really good at first when they forced the Baron. They baited Skarner into it, but if you saw them do Baron, they just lacked the overall raw damage to do it. they don't really have the composition where, all right, we're gonna go into this Baron pit. It's gonna die 15 seconds later. It's more like we're gonna go into this Baron. We're gonna take 20, 30 seconds to kill it, and the other team is gonna be able to catch up and catch us out of position. So it's very hard for Curse.
Ooh, picking up that Baron,
I can't
though.
believe they actually even picked that up. It was just there's no
That
sight.
was so risky.
There's no sight from Teamless, and so they're so hesitant in terms of coming into that Baron pit like they did the first time. You know, Skarner face checked it the first time, died for it, but you know, I'd almost rather have the entire team face check it this time and fight them on Baron, even though it was 4v5.
Shirley's being blown, but actually tanking that binding, stopping him. That's what we were talking about pre-game chat, that Skarner is going to have a difficult time to initiate. Even with the wall going out and all this other stuff, there's just so much kiteability on the CRS team comp.
Yeah, I mean, now it's like, for a while, it was just Teamless in the driving seat, in the advantage because they're winning every team fight. Despite being behind in kills, they're able to pick up the global objectives. They're able to pick
gold,
up.
exactly.
Yeah, they're able to pick up towers. They're able to pick up dragons, which kept them in the game. So, so the gold difference that they have, that's basically the dragon advantage. They're able to pick over CRS, but right now CRS does have Baron buff. What they're going to look to do is they're going to start looking for that tower to even up a little bit. If they can kill enough towers, they're going to be able to get more gold and just be overall a lot stronger. If you look at the support items too, since
Straka getting caught here. Zinnik doing a lot of damage, slowing him, and they might actually have the Ashe arrow to hit him. He's going to force that flash over the wall. He does this, I don't want to take that arrow. I know Ashe is in hot pursuit. I have to get out. So he has to blow that flash, and that's just unfortunate for him.
So now, Curse does have an advantage. You know, that Baron buff is very huge this early in the game. Anytime you get Baron buff pre-20 minutes, it's just the extra damage, extra mana regen, health regen that you get from it is going to allow you to push for a long time. So what Curse wants to do at this point is they just want to take out all the exterior tower. It's going to put them in better map position because when they're in pursuit of somebody, they're chasing somebody, it's just going to be a
arrow
longer...
being initiated on there and tanking it. Oh, and he's going to take a binding all in this one. He's got everything blown on him, but the Kale ult's going to negate all of that damage. Nothing even being done to Tabs there. Oh my gosh, he would have been dropped down for sure, and Tabs is just like, whatever. I got this Kale ulti on me. I'm not going to take any damage. Divine intervention. But Skarner is going to get caught out there. King Derp taking a lot of damage, just getting chunked. This Young Buck picking up that kill.
Yeah, basically anybody that get hit by that binding at this point is going to die. There is no kill intervention to save them again. So with that binding, with that twisted advance, and with that slow from Ashe, is just a lot of damage going down really quickly. And there's really nobody that can tank through it other than the intervention at this point. So you know, with that Baron buff for now, it's so huge for
Malphite
Curse.
twisted advancing onto that Kale, taking a lot of damage. She's not going to be stable. St. Vicious ultimate is going to slow him down enough just so they can get those auto attacks off. They are going to have to push their advantage here. Probably getting sit back. Actually, Ashe taking a lot of damage, but Straka's just going to actually, going to use that heal and pop him back up.
But Satan's doing a really good job landing those bindings. He's caught 3 people, 3 for 3 in the last team fight, starting with the Anivia, then with that Skarner, then on that Graves. So the bindings are making such a huge difference in the team fight right now.
Well, Saint's actually been landing bindings. Every time he's played Morgana, he's been landing like really good skill shot bindings all tournament long.
It's surprising because I always make fun of him. I say, you don't play Amumu because you can't land those bandages.
He's literally landing.
But Morgana is actually harder to land. The animation is a lot
little bit slower, yeah.
It's a little bit slower, so, you know, maybe there is hope for you. Maybe there is hope for you, Saint. But, I mean, this game is definitely changing 180 over and over. You know,
yes, we talked about.
Curse had that huge advantage. They lost that huge advantage. They're able to pick up Baron, regain that advantage, but as soon as the Baron buff wears out, if they don't make a big difference, Teamless is going to get the extra farm from the inhibitor being down. Just the creeps naturally are going to be stronger for Curse, so the waves are going to be coming in every side, so it's going to allow Teamless a lot of opportunity to farm up. So this is where Curse needs to make things happen, needs to push down. They can't step back anymore. Once you take that first inhibitor, if it's going to be a stalled out game, the person with the inhibitor down is going to be advantage in terms of farm. Of course they're going to lose map position, but keep in mind, Baron was dropped recently, Dragon was dropped recently, so there's no real global objective. So when inhibitor is down without global objectives, and the team that took it down can't push, the advantage in terms of farming and catching up is on the team with an inhibitor down.
Yeah, we actually have King Tabs stealing their blue while his blue gets taken by Sierras. And I'm not sure if Saints can realize. He might phase check it, but I think King Tabs is going to get out. He's going to be fine.
They kind of just traded blue buffs right there.
Yep.
You know, Teamless knew that they're going over to their side to steal the blue buff, and so it was a relatively safe bet for Nivea to just walk over there and get it. She doesn't really have sight, but she does know where the players on Curse are, so it's like, alright, I see 4 of them. The chance of me bumping into them is just very, very low right now, because there's only one person that's not showing that. You know, even then, Morgana was farming in her lane, so Nivea knew where all 5 players were, but, you know, Morgana could have very well walked in there and checked to get the blue buff.
Ooh, Kale getting initiated on here. The binding actually landing again. Same pitch is so good at Divine Intervention being blown. He's not going to take any damage. Oh, actually failing the flash to go over the wall. Prince Gush going to be in trouble there, but actually the wall's going up. It does not matter. He's going to be dropped down. It doesn't even matter. Anivia getting initiated on. Vlad's going at that, pulling up, blowing the ultimate, taking a lot of damage. Will he be able to pick that up? Unfortunately, he's actually going to get dropped. Sierra Slipper is going to do a lot of damage. Melik's doing tons of damage, dropping Youngbuck. Doesn't even matter. Oh my gosh, Ash going in, getting exhausted. Lord Need going to take a lot of damage. Will be able to flash over the wall. He is going to be able to make it out. And actually getting a twist advance on King Tabs here. He's kind of alone though. He's going to have to back off. Janik being really aggressive here. They're going to get chunked. I'm not sure why she did that. And Ash going to walk up. Might be able to get it. Going to land the volley. Going to get the egg off. And that's going to be a kill 100% for Slipper there. Even though she's got that Soraka heal. Actually maybe. And we might actually. No, she's going to drop down. Oh my gosh.
that actually turned out a lot better for Teamless than I thought. I thought it was just going to be like a 4-1, 5-1 exchange for Curse. But, you know,
Lorny taking so much damage. Ash going to be a super aggressive. And the arrow, Divine Intervention, saving him from that arrow. Clutch play. Nice Divine Intervention from Kush there.
Anyways, that was just, like I was talking about earlier, it was just Kale, their biggest damage dealer, just got taken out pretty much instantly in that last team fight. So right off the bat, it was just in such a huge favor for Curse. And so I was surprised it even came out that close. But if you watch Anivia's play that fight, she just did such an amazing job. She was able to wall off one person, just force Ash to run around back the long way, allowing her to pick up that extra kill on Janna. So just a lot of good kiting and good positioning on that wall, good positioning on that Glacial Shroud, and it really salvaged a battle that they were absolutely going to get crushed in.
So we do have Baron backup. This is the global objective both teams are going to strive for. They do not have an inhibitor though, so CRS actually has the advantage. They have the oracles, and they have the blue side, which is actually the superior side to have when trying to take Baron.
Yeah. So summers are down, so from both sides. So this is going to be one of those fights where people have damage, but they don't have escape. So you're definitely going to see a lot more people dropping
Teamless
down.
Needs to steal this. We're maybe going to see a Graves ultimate. No, going on a little bit too early. Trying to drop down Saint. Saint's actually going to go initiate General, but going out, kind of pulling them back. Not having the greatest synergy in that team fight.
Oh, he stole Baron
that
too.
Divine Intervention is going out, doing a lot of damage. Again, as Dan just commented, they do have Baron Youngblood going down, and that was kind of a poor choice on CRS's part to force that Baron, as we talked about, just got too low. I think it was the Janel that kind of ruined that synergy for the... I think it was a pretty good ultimate by Saint there, and it just kind of blew everybody out, and unable to keep those tethers, so unable to land those stuns, which really changed the team fight.
Like, the reason why Teamless was able to turn that fight around and still Baron was because they weren't able to clear that ward in Baron. They knew exactly what health it was, and so what Graves did was, all he needed to do was jump over the wall and two-shot it. Because what happened was Skarner used his W, he rushed in, he ate an arrow, and really that arrow prompted his entire team. Alright, I hit Skarner with the arrow, he's got smite, we don't want him to steal Baron, let's kill him. So the entire team turned onto Skarner, and really with the Divine Intervention up, they're going to be able to save Skarner, and that baited all 5 players from Curse out of the pit. Really just Vlad was in there with Graves, and Vlad doesn't do a lot of burst damage in terms of hitting on Baron, and so Graves is dashed over the wall, they don't have smite, I'm going to just right-click buckshot this and just stole Baron right under their nose, and so really good play by Teamless in terms of stealing that Baron, and really bad choice by Curse, trying to do Baron without warding it.
Yeah, they've been trying to force Baron all game long, I noticed. So it's been like it's just been their curse. Like, it's been their, it's, you know, as cliche as that sounds, it's really, you know, that's what's killing them.
It put them behind in the game, allowed them to catch up in the game, and now it's losing them a game again. So definitely a lot of force Baron. Had it gone favorably, had they
Catching with the binding though, and Lordney's gonna go down.
just
Oh, those
those
bindings,
bindings all
Saint.
day, all day.
Saint baby.
But
You can
like I
do
was
it.
saying, that
Oh, speaking
Baron,
of Mrs. Binding.
but that Baron that they're forcing, is what started making them lose a game. It caught them up in the game, and now they're losing again because of it. So it's just
Ooh, twist advance going out. Gonna initiate on King Derp, but the Divine Intimation going out. He's gonna actually pull Ash right into it, tanking that ultimate from him. He's tanking the buckshot. Lots of damage going out. Youngbug getting super low. Twist advance going out on Metal X. Savefish has had to blow the Zanya. Still stay alive. He might actually get him. Actually, he's gonna get away, and Kale's gonna sit there doing a lot of damage, getting everybody low, chunk everybody. Will they be able to get this? I think they're gonna push into the inhibitor. They might be able to save it. They might actually dive. And it's Janna being a little bit too aggressive. She should probably back up a little bit. The
Yeah.
wall going out, pushing them back.
the res
Nothing they
timer
can
is just
do.
so long right now. Like really, Teamless just needs to take down these towers, and Vlad isn't going to be able to clear against these creeps.
No.
And Vlad Janna just doesn't have the damage potential, doesn't have the stopping potential. So this is going to be game 2. 2 Teamless beating out Curse 2-0.
Yeah, unfortunately for them, the Ashe got pulled out of the fight and just instantly got taken down. And that's really what they needed. I mean, look at her score. She's 11-4. She's the pinnacle of their team, and they really needed
Yeah.
her not to do that. She just got caught, or not didn't get caught, but she just got pulled out. And that's just the end of the game right there. So GG Teamless, congrats on your 2-0, and we're moving on.
Yeah, I mean, just overall very close games. Both set. It was a lot of back and forth from both team over and over.
And we're actually going to go to a quick commercial break, and